Today, we're diving into something that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction. We're talking about teaching an AI to understand the secret language of our own cells. It's this incredible idea that literally turns biology into text, and believe me, it is kickstarting what could be a massive revolution in medicine.
I mean, just think about this for a second. What if you could actually ask your cells what's wrong with them? Not in some kind of metaphorical way, but literally ask a question and get a clear, understandable answer back. Well, that's the amazing problem that this new research is setting out to solve.
And the key to this whole thing? Well, it lies in the sheer scale of the data. To even begin to understand this biological language, scientists had to build an AI using the genetic information from over 50 million individual cells. I mean, that is just an absolutely mind-boggling amount of information.
So to make any sense of that much data, we first have to crack our body's secret language.
You know, every single one of our cells contains a whole universe of information in its RNA. It's kind of like a constant messenger telling us which genes are switched on or off at any given moment. Now, there's a technique called single-cell RNA sequencing that lets us eavesdrop on this conversation. But the raw data it spits out is just a massive, chaotic flood of numbers. The challenge is, buried deep inside all that noise are the actual clues to fighting our most complicated diseases.
So how on earth do you tame that biological chaos? Well, the answer is as brilliant as it is simple. You start treating biology just like a language. And here's the elegant solution they came up with. It's a framework they call cell-to-sentence. First, they take all that messy gene data from one cell. Then, they simply rank all the genes from most active to least active. And finally, they just create a simple string of text, a sentence, made up of the names of the top genes, in that specific order.
This cell sentence, this is the Rosetta Stone for this entire breakthrough. It translates the incredibly complex, noisy, biological state of a cell into a simple text format. And just like that, biology becomes a language that the most powerful AIs we have, these large language models, can finally read and actually understand. And of course, once you have a language, you can build an AI that speaks it, which brings us to a model that truly speaks biology.
So, meet C2S-Scale. It's a family of large language models, but instead of just scraping the entire internet, it was trained on a very specific, powerful diet. Those 50 million cell sentences we just talked about, combined with a huge library of scientific papers and data. The whole point was to create a genuine virtual biologist.
So how well does it actually work? Well, you can see the results for yourself right here. You've got your traditional AIs that are specialized for biology. They're pretty good, but they're not very flexible. Then you have your general-purpose AIs, kind of like the ones you chat with online, and they just can't handle this specific kind of data. But C2S-Scale, it blows them both out of the water. It combines that deep biological knowledge with the power of modern language AIs.
And here's the really crucial part. It follows what are called scaling laws. All that really means is that as the researchers made the model bigger and fed it more data, scaling it all the way up to an incredible 27 billion parameters, it just kept getting smarter and better. That's a huge deal, because it tells us we probably haven't even seen its full potential yet.
Okay, so the AI is clearly very smart, but can it make a real-world discovery? That brings us to the ultimate test, a virtual drug hunt.
Here's how they designed the experiment. The researchers created two different virtual scenarios. In one, you have a simulation where a cell's immune system is just slightly activated, sort of on low alert. And in the other, a simulation where the immune system is totally off. The goal was to see how a potential drug would act in these two very different situations.
And then they asked the AI a very specific and very tricky question. What drug out there can make a cancer cell more visible to our body's own immune system, but, and this is the critical part, only when that immune system is already slightly switched on?
So the AI ran this massive virtual screen simulating how thousands of different drugs would behave. And from its list of top candidates, one drug in particular really jumped out, a kinase inhibitor called silmicetirib.
And you have to check out this quote from the actual research paper. The model didn't just pick a drug at random. It predicted a striking context split. It was explicitly telling the scientists that this drug should work specifically when the immune system was on, and that it probably wouldn't do much when it was off. Now, this was a completely new idea. This specific effect had never been reported anywhere before. The AI had made this fascinating prediction inside a computer, but the real question was, would it actually hold up in the real world when they tested it on actual human cells in a lab?
And the results were a perfect match. I mean, look at this. On the left, you can see that giving the cancer cells the drug by itself did almost nothing.
But on the right, when they combined it with that little immune alert signal, the effect was just dramatic. It hugely amplified the, hey, I'm over here signal on the cancer cells exactly like the AI predicted it would. A successful experiment this stunning really signals the dawn of something completely new, the era of the virtual cell.
This entire journey, from a line of computer code to a real lab result, it's about so much more than just this one drug. It's a blueprint for the future of medicine. It proves that we can use these virtual cells to run huge experiments entirely inside a computer, helping us find new drugs and uncover complex biology that we might have missed otherwise.
And the amazing thing is, this technology is really just getting started. It leaves us with one final, exciting question to think about. What disease will we model next in a virtual cell? Alzheimer's? Autoimmune disorders? The possibilities are really just beginning to unfold.